ChatGPT. Relate ACIM to the movie RocketMan. RocketMan through the lens of A Course in Miracles, ACIM. RocketMan is a powerful story about identity, self-worth, addiction, approval-seeking, forgiveness, and the search for love. Through the lens of A Course in Miracles, it becomes a profound exploration of what happens when a mind tries to find its value through achievement and eventually discovers that no amount of success can substitute for the love it has always sought. At its heart, the movie asks, if I become famous, successful, and admired, will I finally feel worthy? This question sits at the heart of the ego's thought system. The search for love. The emotional core of the film is not music. It is love. The young Elton longs to be seen, accepted, appreciated, valued. The ego interprets this longing as a need for external approval. ACM teaches that every search is ultimately a search for God's love. The tragedy is not the longing itself. The tragedy is seeking its fulfillment in places where it cannot be permanently found. The movie beautifully portrays this misunderstanding. Specialness. Fame becomes a form of specialness. Millions admire him, crowds celebrate him, and the world recognizes him. The ego believes specialness will solve the problem of worth. ACM teaches that specialness is the ego's substitute for love. The ego says, if I become important enough, I will finally feel complete. The movie repeatedly demonstrates that achievement does not heal the deeper wound. The self-concept. Elton gradually constructs an elaborate identity, costumes, personas, images, performances. The ego thrives on self-concepts. It asks, who do I need to become? ACIM asks, who am I before every image? The movie continually explores the tension between the public persona and the person beneath it. Addiction and escape. Throughout the film, addiction becomes a way of escaping pain. Substances, attention, success, approval. The forms vary, the purpose remains the same. The ego seeks relief from inner discomfort through external means. ACIM teaches that all forms of addiction rest upon the belief that something outside the mind can provide what is missing. The movie repeatedly exposes the limitations of this strategy. Childhood wounds. Much of Elton's suffering traces back to childhood experiences of rejection, loneliness, and unmet emotional needs. ACIM does not deny the experience of pain, yet it teaches that healing occurs not by endlessly revisiting the past, but by changing the interpretation of the past. The movie beautifully illustrates how old beliefs continue influencing present experience until they are brought into awareness. Forgiveness. One of the deepest themes in the story is forgiveness. Forgiveness of parents, forgiveness of others, forgiveness of self. The ego prefers blame. ACIM teaches that blame maintains suffering. Healing begins when judgment softens. The movie gradually moves toward this recognition. Authenticity. As Elton's journey unfolds, he becomes increasingly willing to stop performing and start being honest. This mirrors the healing process described in ACIM. The ego survives through masks. The Holy Spirit heals through authenticity. The movie repeatedly shows the freedom that emerges when image management begins to dissolve. The return to self. One of the most Aiden-like moments occurs when Elton begins accepting himself rather than seeking constant validation from others. The search begins turning inward. Worth is no longer dependent upon applause. This shift reflects the movement from ego to spirit. The healing does not come from becoming more successful. The healing comes from remembering value that was never absent. The RocketMan symbol. The title itself is symbolic. A rocket leaves the ground and flies into extraordinary heights. The ego often seeks transcendence through achievement. Yet ACIM teaches that awakening is not about rising above others. It is about remembering what we already are. The movie beautifully contrasts worldly ascent with inner healing. The central reflection. The ego watches RocketMan and asks, how can I become worthy? The Holy Spirit watches RocketMan and asks, what if I have always been worthy? Viewed through ACIM, the movie becomes a powerful lesson about the search for love and the limits of worldly success. Elton's journey reveals that no amount of fame, admiration, or accomplishment can replace the peace that comes from self-acceptance and forgiveness. The deepest message may be, the ego seeks value through achievement, recognition, and specialness. The Holy Spirit reminds us that our worth was established by God and cannot be improved upon. The journey home begins when we stop trying to earn love and remember that love has been ours all along. Go to mwge.org to find full movie and commentary by David Hoffmeister.